Alright guys, with this one right here, we done got Frisco, High Road, P Money, and you got everything else, you know, Dizzee and Rascal, Dizzee Rascal, but you got with P Money, High Road, Frisco, Diz, and you got this whole thing just coming into it, but you got with this the high roads and the main other, you know, or lyricism coming into it, but you just got with the high road and everything else, and just this whole thing, you know, with the high road and mainly the main ones, but you got especially with Frisco and, you know, P Money and Rascal and having all of, you know, all the recessionals guys coming into it. It just makes it another East coming into it. But with this one right here, High Road and everything else with this, leverage this.
25 missed calls on an iPhone, 2 cars 7 up like Fido. Sink or swim, me, I float on top like a Lilo. I don't trust people, nah, I ain't tryna end up like Shiro. Hop off the R1, knock off the O and the I roll. 25 missed calls on an iPhone, 2 cars 7 up like Fido. Sink or swim, me, I float on top like a Lilo. I don't trust people, nah, I ain't tryna end up like Shiro. Hop off the R1, knock off the O and the I roll. I deal with matters, ain't always on time, but I'm there when it matters. My gal can't be online chatting about badders, chatting about Frisco, you better have manners. Watch for the ones that you can't see again, come back around when it matters. My gal can't be online chatting about badders, chatting about Frisco, you better have manners. Watch for the ones that you can't see again, come back around when you start getting P again. New pendant, giving them something to pray again. Them man are everywhere, but I'm not seeing them. Trust me, it's peak for them. Man want chat, I let the 4-5 speak to them. You man stay doing things for the clout, don't mind being shallow. It's not that deep to them, boy, better know. We are the elite to them. Transition when the transmission ain't reaching them. Kept it a ton, I ain't gotta preach to them. Sit man down, someone get a seat for them. I dropped out the red meat that can't eat again. Came back around.
Oh, I dropped out the one meeting. I did it a meeting again. Hey, I did it a meeting done. He said when you talk about Frisco, it better come with a meeting and a meeting and everything else. Like he said, you know, coming from Frisco, better come with a meeting and everything else. Like he said, you know, he came around back with those meters, like those meters and everything else. Like they really on the ceteris thing, like doing that whole thing too. Especially how they, you know, how they voice themselves. Like they voice with a whole income. Like they have something really else going on. Like they some vultures just other scoring, like just scoring and ambitious, you know, with the whole thing. But you got just this whole thing, like he said, you know, jumped out the hit score meter, this whole thing, like it's just real everless. Like you got the whole thing just quintessence to another purchases.
Renew the lease again, jump on my wave, gotta start paying P's again. So what about when they stop feeling the heat again? Give them the work consistently, man, for the phone ring when you start finding your feet again. 25 missed calls on an iPhone, 2 cars 7 up like Fido. Sink or swim, me, I float on top like a Lilo. I don't trust people, nah, I ain't tryna end up like Shiro. Hop off the R1, knock off the...
He said he ain't trying to end up like Shiro. Hey, I ain't trying to end up like Shiro and the whole thing. And he said popped out the beats again. And then like the whole other thing is just really slashing, man. It's like the whole thing, like you see it for yourself and the whole thing. Like he said, you know, chop out the meats. Ain't end up trying like Shiro and the whole other extent. Like got another extent to it, another stand rigs.
All of the I road, 25 missed calls on an iPhone, 2 cars 7 up like Fido. Sink or swim, me, I float on top like a Lilo. I don't trust people, nah, I ain't tryna end up like Shiro. Hop off the R1, knock off the all of the I road.
I don't know why you think I won't harm you. Shocking, play with this plug and I'll spark you. Black gloves on and I ain't come here to argue. Ask about me, my chef game is fast food. Man, I'm talking keys till I pushing and twist like man trying to start you. You didn't care about religion when I asked you, but it's all God when I off guard, you guard you. I ain't a standard guy. You was telling my man if it goes off, don't worry, you're standing by. But you was bystander when I was man, I'm talking keys till I pushing and twist like man trying to start you. You didn't care about religion when I asked you, but it's all God when I off guard, you guard you. I ain't a standard guy. You was telling my man if it goes off, don't.
Oh he said, I ain't a standard guy. He said, and then the whole thing, like he put into the thing, he was putting this whole thing into it. Like he said, he was trying to put the whole other thing. Like he said, he didn't know he was a religion and everything else, like the religion and everything else. But he said the standard guy and a whole other like piece of it, like coming into it, and him having this whole thing, like he's just really abortion it. Like he said, with his whole thing. And him having his whole other voice to it, like you just got it coasting and everything else. Like everything else is just recoasting and rebellious in him, and the whole thing is just lavish stack.
Worry, you're standing by, but you was bystander when I was smashing up the guy you were standing by. The reason you couldn't ever put your hand on I, cause you would've gone home with your hand on I hit hard, the man's never seen my hand on ice. Your friend can get smoked for his bad advice. Me and my dog in a wacky ride, we could jump out and make a meal of this, or we could drive through if you want a mac and fries. Slap out when it deals with a batch of guys. No face, no case, I've heard about dirt that I've done and had to act surprised. Like whoever did that are the maddest guys. Cross to it ain't me being sacrificed.
25 missed calls on an iPhone, 2 cars 7 up like Fido. Sink or swim, me, I float on top like a Lilo. I don't trust people, nah, I ain't tryna end up like Shiro. Hop off the R1, knock off the on of the I road. 25 missed calls on an iPhone, 2 cars 7 up like Fido. Sink or swim, me, I float on top like a Lilo. I don't trust people, nah, I ain't tryna end up like Shiro. Hop off the R1, knock off the on of the I road.
Can't trust these birds, can't trust these brothers, can't trust nobody. Everybody's so guard when it comes to the bar, no ifs or buts. And there ain't no love, better watch your lover. Your lover could be plotting on you undercover. It'll be too late by the time you discover. Now you're running around looking like a not a paranoid and bloody confused. And your ego's bruised, was it all an illusion? Face on the news, corruption, no ifs or buts. And there ain't no love, better watch your lover. Your lover could be plotting on you undercover. It'll be too late by the time you discover. Now you're running around looking like a not a paranoid and bloody confused. And your ego's bruised, was it all
He said bloody confused. He said, don't try to lose your lover, don't try to lose your lover, that boy, he's a whole, under detected. Like they say, watch who you really pick and choose, because it's like you gotta really pick and choose, because it's like you don't know what this person's on. Like you don't know what this person, is a whole like under detective person or something else. Like he could be, going whatever he sees, he could be going back and going to go and telling them plusments, like the whole thing. But he said, watch out for the other lovers, because it gets bloody water, like it gets bloody water than everything else, like the bloody water. And a little bit of he looks a little confused in the whole thing. Like he said, sometimes you got to be on a standby, like really know what's really functioning, know what's going on. Like you got to stay on that listed, part of it is like stay on a little bit of standard.
an illusion? Face on the news, corruption, collusion, twisting the truth and abusing the system that needs improving. It would be amusing if it were you. I mean, if it were me, if it were me, would it be as intense? Would it even make sense? Would I need these pounds on pence and a six-figure expense? Would you counsel me or rush to my defense with no evidence? Would you counsel me or just sit on the fence? What's your preference? What's the difference? I've been dealing with wrongers, crooks, thieves, demons. From I was a teen on the high road, scheming, peeling, have a man crying, pleading, all for the P. I ain't got no feelings.
25 missed calls on an iPhone, 2 cars 7 up like Fido. Sink or swim, me, I float on top like a Lilo. I don't trust people, nah, I ain't tryna end up like Shiro. Hop off the R1, knock off the on of the I road. 25 missed calls on an iPhone, 2 cars 7 up like Fido. Sink or swim, me, I float on top like a Lilo. I don't trust people, nah, I ain't tryna end up like Shiro. Hop off the R1, knock off the O of the I road.
Hey, but with this whole thing, with the high road and everything else, and just the Frisco, coming into it, we gotta actually give this condolence to everything else that's going on. Everything that went against anybody else that went a part of, it goes to those, those people coming into the whole thing. But you got with the high road and everything else, and main thing with the high road. But with this whole thing right here, this was another skein over one, but my conditions go to, whoever the condition it goes to and everything else, with the whole thing just overlasting it, like with the whole thing. But you got a main thing coming into it with everything else, and it coming to its whole kind of pleasure and stuff, like all that other pleasure stuff like that. But you just got the high road and the main thing coming into it with the whole just expressions and stuff like that. So, you know, with this one taking over and this one just overlasting itself, it just over boosting. But if you guys like this one, give it a like, give it a comment, everything else, and just with this whole just low sit first.